What you see here is my very first reef tank in the making, and today I will show you all the equipment I have used until now. Let's start with the aquarium itself, which is the 60p Cube Garden from ADA. It's a really high quality opti-wide tank, often used in aquascaping, holding around 60 liters of water. Technically, you can use any aquarium for your first tank, but especially if you start bigger, a tank specifically made for being a saltwater system often includes a sump or a separated filter compartment, which gets a lot of equipment out of sight. Now, if you still want to use a standard aquarium, you can still get some of the advantages of a sump by doing something that seems to be unconventional, using an external filter. I'll be honest with you, the whole discussion about this topic in the saltwater aquarium hobby is pretty complex, and there are many people using external filters for years and many people telling you that your tank is doomed as soon as you use one. As far as I understand, the main worry is that detritus and other stuff gets trapped in your filter, resulting in a lot of nitrates, which is bad for most reef tanks if there is too much of it present. To avoid this, I haven't put any media inside of the filter, which protects me from the possible negative effects, while still giving me two big advantages: getting equipment out of the tank and flexibility. Because I use the external filter, I was able to use an external heater, and I will also be able to include a UV sterilizer or various absorbers if I should face problems in the future. All of this would be a lot more complicated if I would have to include it in the tank itself. By the way, I am again using the AquaOwner silicone tubes for two reasons. First, they are very smooth on the inside and they are not transparent. Both of this results in basically no algae growth inside the tube. And that's important for the same reason I don't use the transparent in and outflows from my freshwater setup in this tank anymore. Saltwater algae is supposed to be a lot sturdier than freshwater algae. At least that's what I heard a lot. Cleaning transparent components would simply be a nightmare. And on top of that, the grey silicone tubes just look way better than the standard tubes in my opinion. Now we got the tank, the right temperature and a little bit of flow from the filter. But this is way too little flow for a saltwater tank. That's why I have two more components that will get me more water movement. This little skimmer, which cleans the water surface, and a wave maker, which was given to me by Hydra to support the channel. A wave maker is a really important component in a reef tank, not just because they move a ton of water, but because they allow you to create a lot of different types of currents. If the water flow changes all of the time, it is a lot less likely that there will be spots where detritus and other bad stuff will build up. Because flow is such an important topic, there will be an extra video about this wave maker because it gives you a ton of options. Apart from the flow, another very important thing in the reef tank is light. Without light, a lot of corals will not be able to survive. And even if they could, we wouldn't see them at all. That's why it makes sense to invest in a good reef tank LED. In my case, the Aqua Illumination Hydra 32. It is probably a little overkill for the tank, but I got it on a discount that was way too big to say no. You can manipulate basically everything about the light this one puts out, which gives you complete control over the intensity and the color of the light. Because this is a very important topic and way too complex for today, there will be a dedicated video about reef tank lighting as well. Now let's get to the two remaining components, and both of them need some explanation. The first one is an auto top-off system, often called ATO. If your water level drops, the ATO will automatically add osmosis water to the tank until the water is back at the desired level. While this might seem like an unnecessary waste of money from lazy people at first, it is actually super important, because if salt water evaporates from your tank, it's actually only the water evaporating, the salt remains. This increases the salinity, and if the salinity increases too much, your animals will have problems pretty quickly. So having an ATO is not about keeping a constant water level, it is about keeping a constant salinity, an investment you should absolutely make. The second component is a protein skimmer, and as you can see, I don't have one. The reason for that is that my tank is pretty small and I do not intend to keep many fish in here. The protein skimmer removes organic compounds from the water by taking them out with bubbles, which is the equivalent to waves producing this nasty foam at the beach while crashing onto the shore. Without many fish, there shouldn't be much organic waste in the tank, and especially in small tanks, it can be possible to remove everything with a regular water change. Still, it could make sense to add a protein skimmer to this tank for even better water quality and because it oxygenates the water. If you are watching right now and you are a more experienced reefer, please comment down below if you would add a protein skimmer to the tank. So this is all the equipment I have for my first reef tank. To sum it up, aquarium, external filter with external heater, skimmer, wave maker, lighting, ATO and maybe a protein skimmer. As I said, there will be two more videos getting deeper into flow and lighting, so you don't want to miss out on those ones. By the way, all of the components I use are listed down in the video description, and I also put in the link for those products that are available on Amazon. If you buy the product over this link, Amazon will give me a provision. Like that, you can support my work so I can get a few more corals in here. I'll see you in the next one.